Oops. All set. So if you do have that Spotify list and you want to listen to music, now's a good time to hit play. We're not all going to be in sync with that. So if you feel the need to like skip ahead to a song, if it feels like more like the vibe of what we're doing, like go for it. And so we're just going to start today sitting nice and tall. And just allow the arms to extend down alongside the body. Let's together take a few really, really deep breaths, like intentionally breathing in, feeling the belly expand, the chest expand, exhale, everything kind of settles. Inhale, feeling that expansive breath, especially through the sides and the back of the body. And then exhale. Good, inhale. And exhale. Continue with that really nice deep breath, and we're going to start moving with the breathing. So inhale, extend the arms right up to the sky, gaze high, right up to the fingertips. Exhale, release the arms all the way down. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. This time, fingertips together and bring the hands down, all the way down towards the ground. Inhale, arms sweep up, big circle up. Fingertips together, exhale, down, almost as if we're sort of grounding our own energy here, especially if you feel a little scattered. Some of you talked about a bit of like chaos around. And so you could even imagine this as being like a gathering of all the energy that we put out into the world and then drawing it here back into yourself. One more time, inhale, arms reach up, this time clasp the fingers together, spin the palms upward. Feel the shoulders reach up towards the ears, and then allow the shoulders to draw away from the ears, creating more space around your neck. Exhale, place the hands behind the head and just dip one elbow towards the ground. Inhale, back up, and the other elbow towards the ground. Inhale, back up. Let the head hang back into your hands. Feel the elbows pull back. So the chest lifts high, back of the neck is long. Take a deep breath in, maybe soften through the jaw. Sometimes people feel an urge to exhale a big sigh. Allowing a little bit of energy to move through the throat, especially if things feel a bit constricted there. And then roll the spine, allow the head to hang, elbows point towards the ground. Inhale, lift the head and the heart up. Exhale, roll the spine. Inhale, lift the head and heart again. Exhale, nice gentle movement here. Come back to center and just release the hands. This time clasp them behind your lower back. Lift up through the chest, reach the arms away. Again, feeling that openness across the front of the chest, across the front of the throat. Exhale out a sound. Ooh. Right, sometimes sound can help movement move through the body. Releasing the arms down alongside the body. Extend the legs straight out ahead of you, and we're just gonna pat the sides of the leg. So patting the sides of the leg here, the hips, getting some of the blood flowing, maybe even open up the hands and pat along the shins. Good. And now up one arm, all the way up to the shoulder. You can even like karate chop a little through the shoulder if you want. And then down the other arm. Maybe karate chop a little on that trap up there. Good. And then we're going to take our fingers and we're going to make little raindrops almost on the face, around the jaw, around the eyes, really gently around the forehead, the eyebrows, just to get a bit of the energy kind of moving And then along the lymph nodes, so those little like parts that stick out a little bit in the neck. Very, very gentle here, very, very gentle through the throat. And then tapping on the crown of the head, maybe the back of the head. Good. And we're going to move on to hands and knees. So I welcome you to have a blanket beneath the knees. If your knees are a little bit swollen, you might want a blanket there. Spread the fingers out nice and wide and just start to move through some cat and cow movements. So rounding the spine, dipping the belly. And remember, when you're dipping the belly down, you're not dipping it really, really deeply. It's just a teeny tiny little dip there. And then think of it opening across the chest a little bit more. And then when you round the spine, think of pushing up through that space between the shoulder blades. Allow the head to hang, gazing towards your baby. And then a gentle rocking movement, just moving here with your breath. And I encourage you to move at your own pace. Just trusting that that pace is absolutely perfect for you today. Right? Maybe you sway the hips a little side to side. Maybe the head shakes out a little bit. And here, hugging baby in just slightly towards your navel. Spread the knees out nice and wide. Bring the soles of the feet together, the toes together. And then sinking back into child's pose. And so for child's, you can always have a pillow or a block beneath the head, especially as your belly grows, your baby grows. And just take a few really deep breaths here. Again, I encourage you to breathe in through the nose and then exhale. Maybe that sigh or that like low kind of moan sound, just to allow a little bit of the energy in the body to flow. The energy can get a bit stuck sometimes. We can get a little bit disconnected, and especially with all the stressors that we have going on in life, you might feel it. And maybe it is in the throat, maybe it's not. Maybe it's in the back or in the belly, in the chest, in the heart. And gently here, come back up onto hands and knees. Bring the knees beneath the hips. You're going to tuck the toes under and then reach your hips right up to the sky. So those of you in your third trimester, especially downward dog, is likely going to eventually start to feel a little bit less comfortable. So if you don't want to hold this for very long or don't want to do it at all, your option is to come down into child's pose, or maybe to do a few more cat and cow positions. But here, just kind of walk out the heels. This is a great opening for the back of the body. And lower the knees down to the floor. Bring the hands together over to the left side of your mat, and you're gonna swing the right foot forward. And you might wanna take the hand on the ankle and like pull it up if you want to. Lunge deeply into the front knee. If you want, block under the hands or whatever you're using for a block. And then gently rock yourself a little bit forward and back. And so again, moving with your own breath. And your body might be telling you, like, just pause a little. Right? Maybe you hang out in one of these positions just for a couple of breaths. You can even imagine here as you're rocking, you're actually kind of rocking your baby as well, right? The baby's sort of hanging in sort of like a little hammock almost when you're in this position. And that forward and backward movement is very similar to what you're going to be doing when your baby is in your arms. Lunging deeply into the front knee. Walk the hands up onto the front thigh. Lunging deeply here. So if you want to, you can tuck the back toes under for a little bit extra support and extend the left arm up to the sky. Take a nice deep breath in. And if you want to connect a little more, I heard a lot of intentions around connection today. Just place your hand right on baby. Say hello. As you lunge deeply here, feel the front foot root down and just shift your weight over towards the right side. So that's the same side as the front, whatever leg is forward. You're going to lean towards that side. Inhale back to center. And then hands come to the inside of the front foot. Stepping back onto hands and knees. You might feel as if you want to sway the hips a little bit again, maybe even sway them all the way over to the right side. Gaze to the right hip and sway to the left side and gaze to the left hip. Come back to center here, move the hands over to the right side of the mat. And you're going to swing the left foot forward. So lunging nice and deeply here. Good. Tuck the back toes under if you want some extra stability. And then inhale, arms reach up. Just reaching the right arm up. Oh, I forgot to do the rocking. Come back down, hands on the block. Lift up through the chest, lunging deeply here, and then rock yourself forward and back. So a lot of the magic that happens in yoga has to do with how the energy moves throughout the body, right? And it feels different. Like even if this idea of energy is sort of like obscure, but it feels different, right? When we're really stagnant, how we feel physically in the body feels very different from, say, when we're doing yoga or after we do yoga. This breathing and movement combined helps to allow the prana, which is the energy in the body, to move a little bit more freely. And when we're under stress, or I mean, even when we're not, but especially when we're under some stress, movement is particularly important because it really helps to regulate the nervous system. So does breathing. So it helps to sort of discharge some of that stress energy in a sense, and then regulate back to a feeling of calm or ease. This time, lunge deeply into the front knee. You can walk the hands up onto the left thigh. Reach the right arm up. Good. Lunging nice and deeply here. Feel as if you're hugging baby in towards you. You can even hold your hand over baby, saying hello. And then extend over towards the left side. So this is towards that, if your left foot is forward, and it's towards that side. And feeling that extension through the side of the body, maybe even all the way down the leg. You might feel this a little. Come back to center, release the hands down to the floor or onto your block. Step back, hands and knees. Taking a couple more cat and cows just to kind of balance that out. And then tuck the toes under, reach the hips up into your downward dog, gazing up towards your baby. So if you have really, really tight legs, bend the knees, feel the hips reach back. From here, I'm going to invite you to bring your hands and feet together. However you get there is fine. So it's okay if you sort of waddle together. Walk the hands up onto the thighs. So feet are a little bit wide. Feel the hips reach back. Lift up through the heart and kind of stick your bum out behind you a bit so there's a bit of a curve in the back. And then roll the spine. Come right up to stand. Arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Just pause here. And so I invite you to take one hand, place it on baby, and one hand on your heart. Feeling your feet root down towards the ground. Soften the knees a little, especially if your lower back is sore. Definitely soften the knees. This will release some pressure in the lower back. Breathing. Inhale, arms sweep right up to the sky. Same as we did when you were seated, bring the fingertips together and then draw the hands down. Inhale, arms reach up again, deep breath in. Exhale, drawing it down. So you can even visualize, right? Gathering your energy. The mothers in the world, man, the nurturers of the world, they put their energy all over the place, right? Out to so many people, which is like something that's so beautiful. But then often there isn't a whole lot of emphasis on drawing that energy back in, right? And it's okay to send that energy out into the world. It's great, it's beautiful. I like to remind myself that that energy actually really belongs to me, right? It belongs here within me. And all the people that we encounter throughout the world, their energy belongs to them. So it's almost like a sending back to them and a gathering energy back to us. Inhale, arms reach up, grab onto your left wrist and just extend over to the right side. So a little side bend here. Inhale back to center, grab onto the right wrist and extend over to the left side. Inhale back to center, release the hands down onto the thighs. So you're in that sort of half squat sort of movement. Lift up through the heart. Good. Maybe roll the spine if that feels good on your back. One more time here, lift the heart. This time you're going to shift the weight onto the right thigh, really ground into the right foot, and then step the left foot back. You're going to pivot and plant the left foot so it's at about 10 o'clock. The toes are pointed at about 10 o'clock. Lunge deeply into the front knee and then walk the hands up. So if you get dizzy in any posture, you can go ahead and release the hands down to the heart, right? Or if like it creates pressure in your head or just feels a little off. So lunging deeply here, the hips square off towards the front of the mat. So you can even take your hips and see if they're open to the side and kind of square them off a little bit. Breathing here. So we're going to exhale, straighten the front leg and draw the hands down towards the heart. And then inhale, extend the arms out, almost like we're doing like a Tai Chi. Extend the arms out forward and then up to the sky. So inhale, straighten the front leg, bring hands to heart, and then reaching out. Just moving here with your breath. So it's more like, yeah, whatever ends up working for you and feels sort of fluid in your own body is what you can do. And you can even imagine as if you are offering, right? This feeling of sending the arms out is almost like an offering. And maybe it's an offering of connection, of love, of care to the world around us. And lunge deeply into the front knee. Place the hands on the front thigh. You're going to square your hips, come onto the back tiptoes, and just step up to the front of the mat. You can take a couple steps to get there. Again, a little bit of those cat-cow movements here with hands on thighs, breathing deeply. And then placing both hands on the left thigh, shift the weight into the left foot, step the right foot back, pivot and plant the back foot so the toes are at about 2 o'clock, and then inhale, arms reach high. Lunging deeply into the front knee. Square the hips off to the front of the room and breathe. If you want to start with that movement, and really it doesn't matter when you like straighten the front leg and when you reach out and how that moves with the inhale and the exhale, just here kind of think about um, what flows best in your own body. Moving and breathing, feeling that back foot root down to the ground. This time, you might even imagine as you bring the arms up, it's like you're gathering up all of that nourishment in the world and then drawing that down towards yourself and towards your baby. Extending out as if you're a gatherer, reaching the arms up and drawing it back down. Moving with your breath. And what is it that nourishes you? Right? Maybe it's nature, maybe it's sunshine, maybe it's water, people, family, silence, planting flowers and vegetables, as if you're just showering yourself with that nourishing energy. And lunging deeply here, arms reach up and then place the hands now down on the left thigh. Come onto the back tiptoes and then step right up to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. We're going to come right up to stand, arms up. Exhale, hands down to heart. If you want to, pausing and placing hands on baby. Again, soften through the knees. Know as your baby grows, your stance is going to get wider and wider, right? So those of you especially entering third trimester, like see what feels really stable in the body. See where you really want your feet to be. Feeling that connection and that stability of the earth beneath you, right? Mother Earth, another mother here, nourishes and provides. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. Grab onto the left wrist, extend over to the right side. Inhale, back to center and over to the left side. Inhale, back to center. This time, take the hands and clasp them behind your lower back. So if your shoulders are really tight, you might want your hands to just kind of rest on the low back. But if you can, really draw the shoulder blades towards one another and extend the arms back. Take a deep breath in. Feel the arms reach back and down towards the ground. Continue hugging baby in towards you. And release that out. Arms lift back up to the sky. Bend the knees, hands on the right thigh. So shift your weight into the right foot. Step the left foot back. This time you're going to spin your foot all the way open to the long end of the mat, coming into a warrior two stance. So arms extend open. Spin the palms so that they face sort of out like stop signs with the fingertips up. And then fingertips down. And just moving back and forth between this. Head and circle the wrists around. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Reach the right arm back. Feel the extension through the side body. And then lunge deeply into the front knee. Right forearm on the right thigh. Extend the left arm towards the front of your mat. Feel the back pinky toe root down. Breathe in. Exhale. Arms to a T. Straighten the front leg. We're going to reach the arms up to the sky. Bring the palms together. And then this time, lunge deeply into your warrior. You're going to bring your arms down and cross them in front of you. And then straighten the front leg, reach the arms up. So moving here again with your breath. And again, you can also think of this as being like creating a protected space around you and around your baby. And, there's that whole like mama bear analogy of like that mama bear energy of protection, like fierce protection. And it's not like in a fearful or scary way, it's in a way of like, I am creating this space around me, protecting me. I'm clearing my space from all that is not serving me in this moment, right? Just sort of creating this intentional space around our own kind of personal energy. Inhale, straighten the front leg, arms out to a T. So you're going to move the feet a little bit closer to one another. They're maybe about 3 feet apart or so. You might want a little bit of a wider stance, right? Arms out to a T. And then think about just like kind of popping your hip out and extend the right arm way, 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 way forward. And then just release it down to your leg. It's likely going to end up on your shin. It might also end up on the thigh, your choice. Reach now the left arm up. If you get dizzy, gaze at the ground. Feel the length through the spine all the way to the crown of the head. Feel the strength in the legs. Exhale, look down to the ground. Let's soften through the front knee and you can walk yourself up. Spin all 10 toes to point to the side of your mat. And pause. So hands at the heart, hands on baby, one on each if you want. Soften those knees for a little extra grounding energy and breathe. All the strength that you need already lies within. We are stronger often than we give credit to ourselves for, right? Like, we are strong, we are resilient, we are connected. You're all growing your baby inside of you without even needing to think about it, really. The body is amazingly doing it. And so spinning now the left toes towards the back end of your mat. Lunge into the left knee. So the right toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Coming into that warrior two stance, arms out. Lunging deeply here. Breathe in. Straighten the front leg and then reverse back, extending the left arm way back behind you. And then arms to a T, lunge into the left leg, lowering the left forearm onto that leg and extend the right arm way forward. Feel through the whole side of your body. Feel that really long. Breathing deeply, knowing that breath is connected. It's connected to your baby, not just for you. Inhale, come back up, arms to a T. We're going to straighten the legs, reach the arms up. This time we're going to draw the hands through the heart and then lunge deeply, extend the arms out. So inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms up, and then exhale. Inhale, hands down the heart. Exhale. And again, that idea of nourishment can be so challenging, especially as a mother or a caregiver of the world. It can be so challenging to pause and just take a little bit of time. Even if it's like 3 minutes, sometimes that can feel really overwhelming and almost like impossible to do. So, here, as you move, knowing that you're already doing something so beautiful, so nourishing, not just for you, but also for your baby. Lunging deeply here, straighten the front leg. And if you want to, you can shorten the stance a little. Extend the arms way open. You're going to pop your bum out to the side a little, extend the left arm way, 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 way forward, and then just lower it down. Make sure it's not resting on the knee. And extend the right arm up, breathe in. Again, if you get dizzy at all, gaze down to the ground. Continue hugging baby in towards you for a little bit of extra strength. And then inhale, come right back up. Spin all 10 toes to point to the side of your mat, the long edge of your mat. And pause. Breathe. Again, hands here. Hands connecting to your baby, and know that it's okay if you don't feel very connected yet. Some people worry that that means maybe they're a bad mother already, right? But you're more connected than you know. Your breath is what connects you. This body, this physical body is what connects you. Here together, it's as if you and your baby are in your own little dance together. Your hands can come to the hips and spin the toes open to the side. Bend the knees, sink the hips down. Good. So the shoulders are right over the hips. Hands can come onto baby, and then inhale, sweep the arms up, reach the arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms back down. Maybe saying hi to baby again. Inhale, straighten the legs, arms reach up. Exhale. So we're going to move rather quickly here. Again, getting a little bit more of that energy kind of flowing through the body. I realize a lot of people are pretty stagnant right now, just with us all being at home. So we're just going to move kind of quickly. So move a little bit quicker with your breath. Sinking down, sweeping up. Almost feels like you might feel like you're like a bird with wings, sort of flapping those wings in the air, just noticing the sensation of the arms as they move through space. And then keep the legs straight, hands again, either to baby, to your heart, or both. Walk the feet in a little bit. I'm going to invite you to come down to sit. And so especially if your back and hips are really sore, I recommend sitting on something. I like my little meditation cushion because it's really firm. But if you don't have one of those, it's totally fine. Just sit on whatever you can find. But this one, like, it doesn't like, you can see, like, it doesn't like smush down very easily. It stays really high. Bringing the soles together and the knees apart. If you do have a block available, I invite you to place it between the feet. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Notice your breath. It's probably a little bit quicker than when we first started class. With some real determination and effort, imagine the breath kind of expanding again, slowing, filling completely, and exhaling down. It might feel good for your body to lean a little bit forward. It might not. See what it is that your body is telling you right now. Dancing on that edge of going too far or not going quite far enough. Listening deeply to that connection that lies within. It's always there. Inhale, gently come back up, stretch the legs out. You can shake them out here. From here, I'm going to move my cushion to the side. Just place the feet on the floor and spin the fingertips to point towards you. Inhale, lift up through the chest, allowing the head to hang back just a little bit. So it's not like dangling back like this. It's just kind of lengthening and gazing up to the ceiling. And then gently release that. Come back up to sit. We're going to move into a bit of a hip opener today. So I went through a couple of options last week. I'll go through them a little bit quicker this week because you've already seen them. If you're early on in your pregnancy and you're okay lying on your back, you can lie on your back and do a reverse pigeon, like a figure four. If you're not okay lying on your back, and remember, if you lie on your back and feel like nauseous, faint, dizzy, off in any way, you come off your back right away. If you want to do forward folding pigeon, right, you're gonna bring one knee forward. So the foot moves somewhat parallel to the front of the mat. Chances are it's gonna have to be in a little closer to accommodate your baby. Square the hips off and then fold forward. Again, I like to lean on something here. So even like a little stool or the side of a couch, a chair could work. For those of you whose babies are getting even bigger, if you do have like something like this or like that, the bolster that I have up there, you can also put that like kind of under the pelvis. So you would sit down on it and then allow that to lift the hips a little bit more, and that'll allow more space for your baby. Another option is the sleeping swan, which is like this, and then you kind of fold forward. So take your pick of what feels right. If none of these feel right, you can also ask me about it after the class. So just know I'm happy to help. And take a few really deep breaths here. If you are listening to the playlist and it's on a quicker song, you can fast forward to a slower one. Noticing your breathing. Allowing a little bit of space for stillness. Your mind will likely wander. It's what our minds do. When that happens, just gently bring it back to this moment, to this practice, the sensation in your hip. You might feel your baby kind of hanging away from your body a little bit here, allowing you to breathe deeper. Imagine breathing right into the area where you feel the most sensation. Life is full of uncertainty. It's full of chaotic moments and quiet moments. Whatever this moment is for you, the invitation is to be with it. And so slowly lifting your body up and out of this position. If you wanted to stretch the leg back a little bit, you can. Some people like doing a downward dog here. Maybe some cat and cows again. And then gently moving through to the other side. So getting yourself set up, and this side may feel a little bit different from the other side. If you have a lot of flexibility in your hips and you're doing this pigeon position, tuck the back toes under and think of hugging your body into the midline. That'll help with building a little more stability. And breathe. Knowing that there's no need for this moment to be any specific way. Noticing your breath and allow the moment to be just as it is. Perhaps, it is filled with connection or love or gratitude. Maybe it's not. Come back to the breath and be. Perhaps the shoulders soften and the jaw releases. Even the grip on the hands soften a little. And then slowly, slowly, slowly lift yourself on up out of this position. Stepping back, stretching out the leg that was bent. Maybe a down dog, maybe a cat cow. Listening to that wisdom that lives within your own body, within your own being. Coming onto hands and knees if you weren't there already. And then slowly moving your way into your final resting position. Again, I went through these last week, but if you want a little reminder, I'll kind of guide you through a couple. If you're listening to the playlist, I recommend listening to the song Ma, N-A, by Guru Ganesha for this. It's a really beautiful song, unless you're like super into the song you're listening to. So for most of you, what you have at home, you can lie on your left side. Maybe you have a pillow or something under your head and something longer along the side of your body, or like for under the leg. Have it under your knee and your ankle, like the same length. It can also be like a pillow between the knees. This one's a little too big for that. Something not quite so big so that your knee isn't higher than your hip. And you can grab another pillow if you want to, and also have that to rest your arm on. You can cover up with a blanket. If you have an eye pillow, you can kind of place it over the eyes, or even like the side of a shirt or scarf or something. So that's one option. If you're lucky to have lots of props at home, you can make a little reclined chair. And if anyone ever wants prop recommendations, let me know. And you can recline back like this. Whatever position you decide to be in, I invite you to soften and close the eyes. To allow your body to completely settle. Breathing deeply, easily. Feeling the entirety of this moment. Maybe even noticing the sensation of the body. Sensation of the body is at rest. Noticing it in the hands, the arms, shoulders, neck, face, scalp. Noticing it in the torso, front torso, and the back of the body. Hips and pelvis and groin, legs, ankles, and feet. And of course, noticing this around the womb. Whatever is present is absolutely perfect. Every breath a new moment. And gently here, just bring a little more awareness back into this space. Coming back now. Perhaps even inviting in a little bit of movement into the fingers and the toes, circling the ankles and wrists. Maybe the hips sway a little. Gently bringing yourself onto the left side if you were on your back, and taking your time here to slowly come all the way up until you're seated. If your body is also saying to you, like, no, I just want to stay lying down longer, guess what? You can. You can stay there longer. And if you choose to come up to seated, now's a good time. And so once you are seated tall, the eyes are still soft or closed. Hands can rest down in the lap. They can rest on your baby. Taking a moment to tune in and notice how you feel right now, physically in your body, in your mind, in your heart, and that subtle energy. It's a little hard to put our finger right on sometimes. And I invite you to send a little message to your baby. Say to hello. It could be like, thank you for practicing yoga. Maybe it's a simple, I love you. Whatever feels like it resonates with you, go for it. And then bringing your palms together in front of your heart, and we do this in an act of gratitude for all the teachers who came before us, for this space that we're in, for the health of our bodies, health of our minds, and even for each other, sharing in this space and this practice, and sending out gratitude for all the nurturers, all the mothers out there of the world. Every single day, 300,000 people give birth in the world. Sending a little love out to all the people who are birthing right now. I thank you all so much for your beautiful practice today. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Om. Have a beautiful day.